some more has come from this interview between Donald Trump and Laura Ingraham, and H1B1 came up. Immigration is a subject that I think a lot of people prioritized, especially during this previous election. Trump had some interesting things to say. We'll let him speak for himself. I'll give you my thoughts here in a bit. But yes, a lot of conversation happening right now about this issue. But yeah, let's take a look and let's listen in.
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put you.
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
So that goes to some of what we discussed, and let's just be completely honest here. Some of you guys may not only have disagreed with me at the time, man, kind of went at me, and everybody has their opinions. It's their right. You remember when we had a somewhat of a bait and switch with the ICE raiding, and they were floating out, this administration was floating out the idea that they were going to shy away from certain industries because so much of the makeup were people that were not here, let's say legally. And I know they're talking about the H1Bs here, but it's a similar idea in that they look at it like, well, you're going to either collapse an industry because you either don't have the talent or you don't have the makeup to be able to replace that in the short term. So I know that some people, lots of people actually, are very unapologetic on this issue. They believe that this is something like America needs to get their stuff in order. And until that happens, people got to go. I totally empathize with that position. I'm not here to argue with it. What I'm here to bring up is that I believe that folks are now, with Trump speaking about it, and to be fair, it's not like a lot of folks have been pressing him on it. But now that he's having to speak about it, you see I don't think it's necessarily a complex thing, but you see just how his perspective differs from his base. I'm not even saying that's a negative thing. I believe that it's actually more natural that something like that is going to happen, where his perspective is one. Especially if you remember, he sat down with all of those tech company CEOs and the social media guys, was Microsoft as well. And I'm willing to bet that was a subject that got brought up. And they're looking at their bottom line, and they're saying, and maybe they are convincing him that, look, you guys don't have the talent, or we don't have the talent in America, and therefore we have to sort of import it. We have to import it in order to fill all these roles. And I think it's probably, I haven't seen the numbers. It's probably a little more complicated than that. It's probably a little bit of both happening. Sure, there are some people that are coming to this country that may love America, the concept of it, entrepreneurship, American exceptionalism, and most people, at least a significant amount, would be like, those folks are okay. I think where the disagreements start to happen is, number one, how many of these guys do you let in? And if that person being imported is going to then replace, let's say, someone that was American born, seeming to, let's say, prioritize them a lot more, that's where the problems kind of happen, where people feel like they're kind of second rate to these folks that have not been here or were not born here. companies have been making their case about these H1Bs for a very long time. It's important talent, though. You look at some of these positions that they're filling, you're like, damn, they couldn't find anybody in America. Is it a price thing as far as the price on labor? I'm not exactly sure. What I do know is that I'm looking at the responses that are happening on social media and know it's not real life. There are some people that are very pissed. Let's just put it out there. And I think this is because this was the issue for a lot of people. That was the subject matter that they voted for this administration for. Was addressing the immigration problem, trying to prioritize America overall, and therefore, if they think that the president, especially the H1B, when you saw a lot of folks that would come out against this whole program needs to end, and Trump here is saying like you got to have the talent, and he flat out said, "I'm gonna rewind it just so you can hear it come from him when she asked him like we don't have the talent." So just look this one more time.
Country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands
of
foreign
but
workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no,
here.
You don't. No, you don't.
We don't.
So he's saying that no, you don't. He's saying that no, you don't have plenty of talent. Again, I don't know what numbers that he's looking at to determine that. These next months for this administration are going to be very interesting. It may end up being yet another example where, again, the base is simply disconnected from the person that they supported. And I think people tolerate it, sometimes to a fault, when they see that, well, maybe this isn't the best idea, or maybe this even contradicts some positions that they had before. But the more that happens, the more those diehards start to come around and are like, wait a minute, this is not what we signed up for. I think these next couple of months are not only going to be interesting for him and this administration, but the Republican Party in general, especially if these previous elections have anything to say for it.